Hi class, today I'm going to be making chocolate covered peanut butter balls. So I've got all my ingredients out. So looking at the recipe, I need creamy peanut butter, got that right here, vanilla, powdered sugar, chocolate chips, and it says coconut oil, but I don't have coconut oil, so I'll just use some olive oil. So when I start cooking, I like to have all my ingredients out and all my tools out. So I've got the measuring cups I need, the measuring spoons I need, the bowl for the peanut butter and powdered sugar, and the bowl to melt the chocolate in later. And then I've got a spatula. So the first step is to whisk the peanut butter and the vanilla together, but before that I'm going to measure out my chocolate chips because they're going to use the same, they're both 3/4 of a cup, and I'll do the chocolate chips into the bowl I'll need later because it'll be a mess in the cup after I measure the peanut butter out. So 3/4 of a cup of chocolate chips, so right there, put that in the bowl. Then I'm going to put the peanut butter, and a good way to do peanut butter is taking a rubber spatula and scraping it into the measuring cup, pushing it down. And I want to get it so it's even at the top. A tiny bit more. So there is 3/4 of a cup of peanut butter. We'll put that into this bowl. Problem with working with peanut butter is it always sticks to everything. Then we need 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. So I'm going to take my 1/2 teaspoon and I'm going to do this 3 times, and that'll give me 1 full teaspoon plus 1/2. There's 1, 2, 3. It says whisk these together. Get some of the peanut butter off the sides if I can. So I've got the peanut butter and vanilla whisked together. So I need 1 cup of powdered sugar. So I got 1 cup. I didn't use a leveling knife, but it's leveled at the top. If I was baking, I would make sure I measure very accurately because that can change things when you're baking, but since I'm not baking, this will be okay. So it says stir this together with a spatula and then to knead it. So go ahead and stir it to get the peanut butter and vanilla mixture and the powdered sugar all mixed together. So one thing I missed on the directions, it says gradually add the powdered sugar. So that probably would make it easier on me to mix it, but we'll be okay. It always pays to follow the directions. Now that I've got it mostly mixed together, the next step in the recipe is to knead it with your hands. So I make sure I just wash my hands again so I have nice clean hands. A lot of this recipe is working with your hands. After we get this all mixed together, we're going to chill it for an hour in the fridge, and then we're going to use our hands to make round balls of this, so it will be ready to dip it in chocolate. So you knead it kind of like bread, if you've ever made bread at home. And once this is ready, I'll put it in the fridge for an hour. So I've had the dough chilling in the fridge for an hour. So now the next step is to form these into balls, and then we'll put them on the tray and put them back in the fridge. I'm gonna make them about that big. Now that it's cooled off, been in the fridge for about an hour, a little more, it's pretty easy to work with. So I'm just putting them on a cookie sheet. And then once I get these all made, I'll melt the chocolate in the microwave and then dip these one at a time in chocolate. So I've got the balls made out. I made about a dozen of them. So if you want more, you could always double the recipe. I'm going to go ahead and put these in the fridge, and then we'll get the chocolate chips ready to melt. So the recipe calls for a half tablespoon of coconut oil. Since I don't have any coconut oil at home, I'll use half a tablespoon of olive oil. And then I've also got a baking sheet with parchment paper out, so that when we melt the chocolate and we dip the balls in, we can lay it out on parchment paper right away. So I'll bring you over to the microwave. It says cook on 50% power. Sometimes microwaves are a pain to try to figure out how to set the power level. On mine, you need to enter a time first. So I'll do 2 minutes and check it. I'm going to stop it every 30 seconds and make sure I don't overcook it. And then I'm going to hit power level in 5, and that gives us power level 50. So every 30 seconds I'm going to check it, and once it's done I'll stir it. So I've got my chocolate all melted. It took about 3 minutes in the microwave. I stopped it every 30 seconds or so and stirred it up. So now we're ready to dip the peanut butter balls. And it says take it out one at a time so that they stay cold. So we drop it in. Got a couple forks. Stir it around. Pick it up, kind of shake off any excess. Then I'm going to put it here on parchment paper. So I can try to get the bottom a little bit better on the next one. And if these were in the freezer, it'd be a little bit colder. They'd be a little bit more solid. Maybe a little bit easier to work with. So if you have a freezer that has space for a baking pan or a cookie sheet, I would recommend putting it in your freezer. So that one worked a lot nicer. So just put a little bit of space between them so they don't clump up. And we'll do this with all of them. So I've got all of the peanut butter balls dipped in chocolate laid out on the pan. I'm going to put them in the fridge. It says till the chocolate sets, so that could be, you know, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And then there'll be dessert. It says keep them in the refrigerator or the freezer. I'm just going to keep them in the fridge. I don't think they're going to last very long in our house. So I posted the recipe on Classroom, so let me know if you try these yourself.